Thank you very much, Chair and Chief Secretary. Thank you. I also want to recognize the Minister of Information and my colleague. I will start with the last one in case I lose it. How are debts accumulated going to be liquidated? It is a question that is not very easy to answer because these debts are accumulated in many ways and schools deal with them in different ways. Perhaps what we can borrow from is what happened in the previous session. Responsible authorities had to take those debts on behalf of their schools as part of their technical support, and that did not exclude government. Government also did that for government schools. But in some cases, quite a number of schools which were already engaged in commercial activities or income-generating projects did not have any debts to carry. You will be aware again that as a ministry, we sent a proposal that all our schools should engage in commercial activities for sustainability, and Cabinet accepted that position. So we want to continue pushing our schools to look at education as a business that can actually look after itself. But currently, I think, suffice it to say, mainly the responsible authorities will be asked to try and save their asset, which is a school. The next one was the question that was not supposed to have been asked about transport challenges, but which was asked anyway. And I was asked to comment on the impact on the calendar. We hope it will not impact negatively on the calendar. Just like the workers ourselves are going to work every day, the children also have to get to school every day. We are also aware that government is working on alternatives to transport resolution. I think you were made aware of that. Other options that are coming through, like the trains, new buses that are on their way. So ours is to believe that government is going to be on top of the situation, and our learners, like their parents, will get to work, which is school for them. The next question dealt with the percentage lost time for this year. I think what we want to emphasize is that this year we have had 2 sessions. The first session was a whole term, a full term, which is about 60 days. This second session, you will notice we did not call it a term, and deliberately so, because a term is maximum 60 days. And we couldn't break between the beginning and the end of this session. That's why we refer to it as the final physical session of 2021. This session has 80 days instead of 60 days, which means it's your ordinary term plus a third of that ordinary term. So maybe if you're using simple arithmetic, the children have lost about 2/3 of a term in terms of physical presence at the school. But I think you will agree with me that government, through the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education, has been very busy in looking at mitigating the loss of physical or face-to-face contact between teacher and child. And therefore we came up with a lot of programs for alternative teaching and learning, ranging from online programming, supported by quite a number of our partners as government, going through radio programming, and I'm sure all of us will have found us on quite a number of radios every day. We have done a bit of television programming as well. We have produced a lot of hard copy textbooks, storybooks for the young learners, modules and workbooks for the slightly older learners, self-study guides for the exam classes, and even more modules for the learners. Our website is awash with material that we have done through our own efforts as government, but also through partners coming in to give us some learning materials on open learning sources. So learning has been going on through other means, because I think what we have learned as a country is that school is not the physical wall. Education is not limited to walking into a classroom. It is the interaction between a learner and material that is going to make them get the knowledge, the competences, the skills they want. So in terms of real loss of time, it will be very difficult to say even that 2/3 of a term has been lost. And the long and the short of it, we have consulted our system, especially the heads of schools who run our shop floor level, and they have convinced us that given all the efforts we have done as a country and this session where we have gone back and trying to look at correct timing, it is possible to run exams starting in 2021. We might spill over for some of the exams to beginning of 2022, but we believe our learners will be ready. By the way, the Zimbabwean learner is hungry for education, and the Zimbabwean teacher is also amazing when it comes to trying to get their child ready for their future. We believe as a ministry we cannot stop the futures of these children, so we will try everything possible to prepare them for the exams. The third one was return of teenage pregnant girls. Do you have any statistics? I think we are only one day into the session for everybody. The statistics will be collected as we go on. But what we did just before the beginning of the term, this abnormal term, was to go out on a community outreach with service fairs where we were trying to tell our parents to say, according to the Education Act and even our own pieces of legislation before, pregnancy doesn't mean a closure to a child's education program. We allow them to come back to school and continue, and only stop when they need to go and deliver the child, and afterwards come back and continue. We also, for those who are not comfortable with that, we have the non-formal education program as a route, another route to accessing education. So they are well catered for. We also have support through our guidance and counseling structures where they are given psychosocial support to accept that they are no longer the children we knew. They now have a new role of mother-to-be, but they still are a learner and they have to continue with their educational program. So part of the mitigation, apart from, as I said, the psychosocial support, we also make sure that we continue nursing them in terms of giving them extra support, educational support, to make sure that they don't fall back and they don't feel let down by this new condition they find themselves in. The final one was on teacher unions. Has government engaged these? I think this one is not really one I can answer with confidence in, because the employment rests with my sister, secretary in the Ministry of Public Services, Labour and Social Welfare. We as ministry have been consulting them when it comes to how to maybe when to open schools, how to open schools, because we are their supervisors, we use them. But in terms of engagement, I would not be the right person to comment on that one. Thank you very much, Chief
Thank
Secretary.
you very much. Last round. 4 questions. Yes, please.
Thank you, sir. So, what is the long-term plan for schools that are forced to alternate learners, since some learners are now learning a few days a week?
Can I have the question again?
The question.
Okay. What is the long-term plan for schools that are forced to alternate learners, since learners are now learning a few days a week? Thank you.
Okay. And the other yes, one on there.
Okay, my name is Njimi and I'm a freelance. I had 2 questions. They're both COVID related. The initial question is the teachers' union, ZIMTA, ATUS, have painted a gloomy picture in terms of government's adoption of vaccination for the working staff, teachers in particular. What measures have you put in place to see to it that the opening of schools creates a platform for teachers to be vaccinated as well as students? And then the second one is in relation to the students. There have been hazy arguments as to the required age for one to be vaccinated. As the Minister of Primary and Secondary Education, what measures have you seen to it that you pronounce the age and also the schools, the primary and secondary schools, being a hub that constitutes quite a considerable population of Zimbabwe? What measures are you putting in place within the schools to see to it that the students contribute to reaching herd immunity count in terms of vaccination?
Okay. Third one. Or we can end there. Anyone who is itching? The last question. Yes, please.
Maybe it's with the peers, would you like to take us through, tell us with confidence on the number of teachers who are returning to work when schools were reopened? I know it's just 2 days, but from your assessment, we've had unions say our members like us, I can't go to school with this and that, but only government can give us the picture. What has been the turning rate teachers?
Okay, that's the last one. So over to you, Secretary.
Thank you very much, Chair and Chief Secretary. Again, I'll start with your last question. From our daily check of attendance for the previous week, I haven't looked at today's one because normally it comes around this time. The number of teachers that were coming as compared to the number we were expecting was over 70%. There is 1 or 2 provinces where it is still depressed, but generally we are over 70%. So those who are supposed not to have enough money and whatever, we are hoping by the end of this week they will have borrowed enough money to go back to work. Then you talked about the age of vaccination not being very clear. I think really that question I would have to be guided by Ministry of Health, because they are the ones who would know what is safe at what age and whatever. Once we are guided, then we implement and encourage our learners and our teachers to be vaccinated. For the teachers as well, I think they are members of the communities. They are from the communities right now as they go back to the schools. And they have been encouraged. The situation has been, yes, please, it's not, you are not being forced, but be encouraged. But we're still against them to be guided because they are frontline workers, and Ministry of Health is the one who should be the best one to tell us whether we try and persuade all of them, or there's another language that can be used to get them all to be vaccinated. I think really those are my comments. Back to you, Chief Secretary.
Thank you very much, Secretary.